today's webinar. Now I think I still can see people are streaming in itself. So let me run a poll so that I want to know whether or not you are the first time attending. Although I see a lot of familiar faces, but let me know so that we know how to adjust or introduce to you. Okay, I see there are 2 people already say their first time. Welcome to LCMS Traders webinar. Maybe just let you tell you more about this webinar. I tell you more about what we do. We have here a daily webinar where Jin will be walking through with you his thoughts and ideas for a very specific currency today. Okay, so Monday we talk about Aussie and New Zealand. Tuesday we'll be talking about Euro. Wednesday today we'll be talking about pound itself. Thursday, Jin will be talking about yen and gold. Friday, he will talk about the Canadian and the oil-related stuff. Okay, so just to let you know what is going to happen and the structure behind this. Okay, so now as today, Jin will be talking about pound itself. The webinar is going to be very beneficial for the long-term investors and short-term investors. So you will see him talking about the day chart and also maybe the 4-hour chart as well, and how you could plan your day as well. So during these sessions, Jin will be telling you about how the price moves, what possible trade ideas, if possible, highlight potential targets or risk itself. So before we talk about this, talk about trades, a disclaimer: any information shared in this session itself is not intended for trade recommendation, by solely the opinion of Jin and the views and solely opinion of the Jin. So please remember to make sure you do your own analysis, especially to those who are in the one-to-one coaching. I let you know already, before any signal or anyone trade idea, you listen to anyone, you also must do your own analysis prior to anything before you even click the button. Okay, so please do so as well. So I talked so much. Let me introduce myself to those who are new here. My name is Daniel. I've known Jin for many years already. First time as a student under him, he's my coach and mentor. And now as a business partner, Jin has helped me a lot in my trading itself to get where I am right now, to be consistent and profitable trader itself right now. So I'm very grateful to him. So Jin runs the LCMS Traders and Forex Briefcase as a trading coach, and he's now $1 million trader where he trades more than $7 million of funds in Forex Briefcase. What this means, he's been trading, he's been invited to many stages globally, giving a lot of talks itself. And one of the reasons you may be here because either your friends have already been impressed with him and you join here, or you'll be seeing him presenting, attend an event, or even attended one of the courses as well. Okay, so before we get started, I'm going to launch another poll to know where you come from, so that we can understand how you get here and how we can get more people to come in. Okay, so please give us a poll. Where do you come from? How you get to know this webinar? Oh, I can see one Facebook Live, Telegram channel as well, Traders Club member. Oh, that's great. If you're a Traders Club member itself, it's very good in a Traders Club. Friends chat. Yes, I really encourage anyone who has friends trading as well to ask them to share with them and ask them to join here. You can see it's very beneficial for everyone. And one from Meetup Group. Cool. Okay, so we have 19 out of 21 of you here. 2 more. Is that who else is 2 more? Anyone? Okay. Okay. Then before Jin, to you. Let's start.
Okay, so it's quite funny that right now I'm not on Facebook Live, but everyone is coming. We've got 3 people coming through from Facebook Live. I don't know how that works. All right, so today is Wednesday. We will be doing looking at pound US dollar, right? But before that, okay, just for those of you who are in the Traders Club, did you catch my video from last night? Hands up if you did. All right, couple of hands up. The others, I can't see your faces, so I'll assume that you hit your hands up. With watching that video, did you get into a trade, or did you look into possibly entering a trade? Right? No, actually, for those of you shaking your heads, you shouldn't be looking for a trade at this point, because if I can jump to this screen share, so I'll talk a bit about the news this morning. So this morning we had the 10 a.m. we had the New Zealand cash rate, which was held at 0.25%. We had a policy statement and rate statement from the Bank of New Zealand. So what happened was we actually saw that the Bank of New Zealand did expand the purchases of up to 60 billion. So if I'm not wrong, memory serves me right, it was 30 billion before, so they have pretty much doubled it at this meeting, which, you know, as they double an asset purchase program, which means Bank of New Zealand is buying assets back. As they buy assets back, they're pushing money into the economy, which is to stimulate the economy. So as more as supply of money increases, you know, you're looking at a possible weakness of the New Zealand dollar. So that was, let me get rid of that. So that was the where is it? That was the video that I shared here last night, talking about the news coming up, the New Zealand news coming up this morning, and also possible trade ideas. So if you actually watch the video, what I said was, let me jump back to the charts. What I said was, you know, it was at that point, you know, it's possibly going to come down and test this support level. You know, no trade at that point, no safe trade at that point, because we were looking at a possible 40 pip move downwards. You know, but if you wanted to do an aggressive trade, it was 40 down with a 20 stop. You know, could look at that, but the safer trade would be to wait for it to break that support level, break the support level of 0.6050, let it close below, and possibly sell it downwards from there. So right now it has closed below 0.6050. We are looking for a sell. However, it is outside a Bollinger Band, so do be careful. But that sell trade is valid now. In my view, you know, I'm looking for a downside, further downside, further downside, further downside for the New Zealand US dollar. All right, so that's a trade that could play out quite nicely over today and possibly the next couple of days. But let's get back into the main topic. Main topic for today is the pound US dollar. Pound US dollar hasn't been doing much, but we see that it is slowly gravitating downwards towards the 1.2130 level, right? It's gravitating down towards that level. At this point, the question is whether it's going to hit this level and bounce up, which it has done, you know, one time here, two times here, and possibly a third time coming up, or is it going to sit at this level and break lower towards the 1.1464 level? Okay, I think, you know, I've been looking at it going, hey, it could drop, it could bounce, the next time it could bounce. At this point, I do think that that support of 1.2130 is likely to hold. It's likely to hold. So at this point, I think that we could see a bounce. All right, based on technicals alone, we could see a bounce without, you know, but we do need to see whether how it tests this support level. So quite straightforward. I think we, you know, not much trades happening for the pound, but we want to see what's happening in the news today for the pound. Okay, Forex Factory here. So we had New Zealand today already at 2 p.m. So not very far ahead now. We do have the pound releasing the preliminary GDP numbers quarter on quarter, expected to be minus 2.6% from last month's 0, right? So we go from 0 to minus 2.6. What we're possibly going to see here is it is going to be a bad number, without a doubt. Without a doubt, it's going to be a bad number. The only question now is whether this number is going to be, minus 2.6, minus 3, minus 2.5, minus 2.4. It's going to be a minus number. How bad it is, I think that the impact, right, of a negative GDP number is already slightly priced in, which is why we saw the pound moving down slowly already over the past couple of days. So we probably think that it's probably priced in a bit. I do think that we might see, as it's priced in, we have seen over the past couple of times with the US, bad number comes out, some weakness in the US dollar followed by a little bit of strength. It just fluctuates in that region because of the news being priced in. Okay, so I'm flipping in between charts and news a lot today because GDP is one of the key drivers of price directions. So I do think that with that bad news coming up, we could see it fluctuate a little bit downwards, test this support, and possibly go back up again, right? So it's still going to be in this area. I'm tempted to say that it's probably going to go all the way down, but I think that the prudent trade idea will be for it to test this level. That's a good pip move downwards, about 200 over downwards. If you're trading the news, we look at it on a smaller time frame, but it could move down, test this level before bouncing back up. All right, so I still think that in the medium to longer term, we could see it bounce off this level. So to be a bit more specific, just put some lines in there for you. All right, I do think that is a possible move that could happen. So moving down because of the news before bouncing back up, testing the support and bouncing back up again. So looking at it on the H4, today we could see that news being released at 2 o'clock. If it does come out as a minus number, the first instinct for most people will be that it's a bad news. Unless it comes out at anything less than 2.5, people might think, oh, it's a good news. So you might see some upward move, that first instinct upward move before coming back down again. But overall, we think that it's going to be a bad number, so it's going to move down a bit, possibly test the 1.2130 level before moving back up again. Why I think it's possibly going to move back up again? Flick back again to Forex Factory. We do have some US news. Core PPI. Powell is speaking. I don't think that's going to move the market that much. We do have where was it? US retail sales number coming up later in the week as well. So because of that, anticipating the news could be quite bad. The retail sales number could be quite bad. So I think that we could see some short-term strength in the pound, right? Or rather some short-term strength in the US dollar because of the pound weakness. And then after that, US dollar becoming weak again later in the week on Friday. Okay, so I think that was quite short and sharp for the pound US dollar. Let me see if there are any questions come up.
Yes, Hosun asked tonight Power speech, any impact?
Okay, so Hosun's question, Power speech tonight at 9 o'clock. Right. How do you tell whether a news is going to be likely to be high impact or not? I'll look into the details. So he's going to speak about current economic issues at a webinar organized by the Peterson Institute for International Economics. At that level, he's probably going to say things about how they're being impacted, current economic issues, right? So obviously the US economy is not doing great, mainly because of what's happening in terms of the virus impacting the economy. So he will come up slightly dovish. He will start talking, about how it's not doing well. He probably will put in some policy facts, saying what they have done to try and help the situation. But I don't think that he's going to say anything. He's not going to say anything new, like releasing new policy or saying they're going to increase their QE or say anything about reducing rates that way. So I do think that there might be some impact because a central banker coming out speaking about how the economy is being impacted is going to have some impact. But then, without any clear actions or announcement of clear actions, I don't think it's going to be a lasting impact. All right, so I hope that answers your question, Hosun. All right.
Eric, I also have another question.
Brexit talks going on this week. Do you think any bad news coming out will affect pound given the current focus on COVID? Brexit talks going on this week. I haven't really followed up on the Brexit talks actually, but the last time I was looking at it, they were talking about possibly extending the deadline because of this whole COVID situation. So I think that whenever they spoke about an extension of deadline, it strengthened the pound a little bit. So I think it might impact the pound, but it probably, if it's a bad news, obviously it's going to weaken the pound. But I think, that first move heading down will be driven by GDP first, and then possibly we're going to see a slight extension of a deadline because Europe and the UK is not doing great at the moment. So possibly going to extend the deadline, which would lead to some strength in the pound as well. So that would fit quite nicely to the analysis here, where it could come down towards, the GDP number could bring it down towards 1.2130. If there's any Brexit news about an extension or US dollar retail sales number on Friday, we're likely to see it push back up again from there. So I'm looking at this support level as quite a key trigger. If it breaks below this support level, then it's also a great opportunity there. If it does break below this level, we could see a big downside for the pound. So if it does break below this level, that would be a great trade. Let's say even a big 240 stop loss, but we get about a 530 take profit. So you do have a 2-to-1 or 1-to-2 risk reward ratio there as a trade opportunity. So that if it ever breaks any support or resistance levels, that's always one of the better risk reward ratio trade ideas, opportunities. Good. Any other questions? Oops. No more? Chat's quiet again?
No. Alex asked, how about the resistance point? 1.2470.
1.24. Wait, hang on. Let me see. Yeah. 1.2470. About there. Okay. Yeah. 1.2470. Yeah. So about there. That's also, so Alex asked that question about 1.24. Let me put that line there. So you guys can see my chart, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So 1.2470 is right about there. That's a resist. That's also one of the reasons why my line went all the way to that point. That's where we saw a lot of fluctuations at this level. So if it does test this support and bounce back up, that would be one level. However, it could, once it goes there, that could be a good risk reward, 100 something or 200 to 200. So there's a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio there as well. So main thing is to let it come back down, test that support, and you can trade it up to the 1.2470 level. Okay. Frankie, what's the support level you said just then? 1.2130, and below that 1.1464. Alrighty, good. I love the questions coming in today. Everyone seems a bit more ready to chat. Any other questions? You all good? All right. So one thing is we do have a lot of come back into the Forex Factory. You know, we do have a lot of news which are planned to release and a lot of things which are pending, right? So a lot of things which are pending, a lot of things that could change the way the market could react quite quickly, you know, with all the news. And also I wanted to show you this, which was quite funny. I had a good laugh yesterday when I saw this last night. Where is it? Obviously it was a Trump tweet. I can't find it now. There you go. Search for it. So as long as countries are, so Trump tweeted yesterday, as long as other countries are receiving the benefits of negative rates, the US should accept the gift. Right, big numbers. This was after the CPI numbers was being released, being worse than worse than previous. You know, so Trump is pressuring the FOMC. Is worse than expected, worse than previous, worse than expected, worse than previous as well. So Trump is trying to pressure the FOMC into lower rates, much lower rates, possibly into negative rates as well. So we do see that because of that, we could see US dollar cutting rates, possibly. You know, he's not supposed to implement, but he could influence. But as we see US dollar, if they do cut rates, we could also see further rate cuts from all the other major currencies as well, or major and minor currencies as well. So we are possibly heading into negative rates territory now, right? So that's going to be quite interesting. So one way to stay ahead and abreast of the news is on Forex Factory, where all the news are there. Another thing I wanted to, well, you guys know the drill already. Most of you have always been from Traders Club. So Traders Club here is a private group on Facebook, right? So join, if you are not already, join us on Traders Club. Search for us on Facebook, LCMS Traders Club. It's basically a place where you get, you know, not just good information, you get to ask questions, you get all the support, you get, if there's anything that changes, I will let you know. You get coaching. So those of you in Traders Club, remember tonight at 8:30, time has changed, 8:30 p.m. tonight. There's a coaching session. Daniel and Jonathan's running the session, talking about trend tonight. So a lot of times, you know, we say trade with the trend, follow the trend, trade with the trend, follow the trend. But then traders sit there and go, wait, what's the trend? How do I tell whether it's really going up? How do I tell whether it's really going down, or what's across, right? So distinct ways of how to identify long-term trend, short-term trend, medium-term trend, whether it's up, down, across, so that you can actually follow. And we know that once you follow trend, you know, your chances of success is possibly 70-30. 70% of the time you're going to be more successful than if you did against the trend. So in Traders Club, I also do videos only for Traders Club members here, you know, talking about the New Zealand news I told you about. We have talks about the signals. So a lot of you came from the Telegram channel. So in the Telegram channel, we fire out signals, but it comes out first in the Traders Club. And not only do you get the signals in Traders Club, you also get the analysis behind the signals. So we actually tell you why. Daniel tells you why we're entering a trade, the fundamental reasons, the economic reasons behind the trade, the technical trend, the support resistance, the indicators, the reasons behind why you get into a trade, right? So you can stay on Telegram and blindly follow, you know, make some money. That's fair enough. But if you really want to know how to trade properly, you want to learn how to trade properly, you want to build that system for yourself, become independent, you know, you can jump into Traders Club and then learn as you copy the trade. Learn how to trade as you copy that trade. You know, and also we have the feedback on when to close the trade, whether to hold a TP1 or TP2 or TP3. giving you that feedback of when to close the trade and reasons why we close the trade. A lot of times people close trades because they're emotional. Why we close the trades is because of a logical reason and a system behind every trade that we close. All right, so Kenneth has the updates, daily updates at 9 p.m. when you probably start trading again. We give you an update again on what the market has been doing, following from the currency call. More signals, a lot of signals there, watch list. So a lot of information in the Traders Club. Really, if you want to take your trading seriously and you want to actually make some money in the long term independently, this is where you come to, you join this, and then you build your skill set, get that coaching to build your skill set. Traders Club is a paid group. It is $49 a month or $199 a year, right? At $199 a year, it's less than $1 a day, it's a lot less than $1 a day, and it's going to be massively beneficial to your overall trading journey. Okay, so if you're going to take it seriously, I would definitely say join Traders Club. Any other questions? Alex with a question. Yesterday when Jin mentioned New Zealand, I paired it with Aussie, New Zealand and long the pair. Good result from it. Spread risk out from the... Hey, great. Good for you, Alex. Awesome. All right, so the best way to use this chat or this video also is, I'll come to that one after that. So the best way to use this webinars, daily webinars, is also to support your own analysis. So I love what Alex did. I talk about Aussie, I talk about New Zealand. He paired it up to trade the Aussie New Zealand instead of just trading the Aussie US or the New Zealand US dollar. So that's fantastic. What I feel is now everyone is giving out poor results. Hence, whoever poor results will dominate the market. So I am wondering, do we pair with US or using pound pair with others? Alex, you can pair it with anything you want because whichever you feel most comfortable with. I do mostly the pound US dollar. I don't look at too many cross pairs, but as we look at the fundamental reasons for the pound, then you can pair it. Once you have that basis, you can pair it with any other currency pairs that you want to as well. All right. Good. No more questions. Any more questions? No. I'm scrolling through the chat. All right, good stuff. Alrighty, so for those of you who are already Traders Club members, and I see a lot of regular names, you know the drill. Let me know what you thought of today's. Let me know what you thought of today's session as I run the poll. And those of you who are not already on Traders Club, you should definitely join. Without a doubt, it's going to be 100% more supporting and beneficial to your overall trading accounts. Alrighty, so as you do that, I thank you all for your time. Remember, those of you in Traders Club, join the coaching call tonight at 8:30 p.m. And then we have another session, currency call tomorrow at 11 a.m. again. Tomorrow's talking about yen, US yen, pound yen, euro yen, and also gold. All right, so it's a reserve currency, reserve commodity day. Great. So
okay.
thank you all.
Yeah, by the way, just to let everybody, again, the newcomers know that there'll be a recording of this video will be uploaded on the LCMS Traders Club. So thank you for joining this session today.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. See you.
Yeah, bye.